Hello and welcome to Kelly's Anesthesia Tips. I had a request for something that is a little simple, but I didn't have anything for this on my YouTube channel. I'll just show you how we know. So going to my channel content, I was asked about medical terminology and acronyms. So I'm like, oh, I'm sure I've done something on that. Well, I haven't. What I have done and how I did is I just went to my channel and searched for acronym. Didn't search for medical terminology, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to come up with the same thing. Yeah. So I have done this in some live sessions, many of the live sessions. And I did mine so long ago. It was right after I first started with anesthesia because, as you know, this is like a whole new language to us. We have to learn prefixes, suffixes, handwriting back in the day, not so much that anymore. But not only do we have to have some medical terminology related to the surgical side of it, we have our own related to the anesthesia side of it. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share some resources. I looked specifically here for medical terms in anesthesia. This is why I do like the AI overview mode here. So I'm going to share, some of this information with you, but these things you can look up on your own. I've got medical terms in anesthesia, and then I asked for medical terms in surgery because they're two different things. And I do see, a lot of these that are familiar to me. And we don't just have those related to the actual procedures or diagnosis themselves. We have them related to the anesthesiologist, the nurse anesthetist, the anesthesia assistants, which can get confusing because there's a modifier, AA, and anesthesia assistants are AAs as well. All right, so I am going to give you all of these links, and then I'm going to do a throwback. So my throwback goes out to Jamie Chesson. So Jamie Chesson and I, way back in, you guys know I support state associations, and they've dwindled over the years, but Georgia was one of the ones that initially helped Florida more than 25 years ago. And this particular session that I did with Jamie Chesson was so much fun because we talked about navigating terms and acronyms. So it's old. I'm not going to share the PowerPoint with you because I don't typically upload PowerPoints on my website, but I'm going to put together like an acronym list that I'll upload to my website. But here I'll just say sometimes abbreviations are difficult to read, paper records, and acronyms can have multiple meanings. When you misinterpret what they mean, it can cause problems because it can either under, over, or misreport in the patient's medical record. So you do want to be careful and cautious when you're doing these. So Jamie and I did a game show presenter that was, are you smarter than an anesthesia code or biller? And just for fun, we did these kind of things. So what is FTP? Well, failure to progress, but it could also be full-term pregnancy. So making sure that you have an understanding of what those are. And I think we did that in the answers. We were like, okay, because this is a diagnosis, failure to progress, it could be full-term pregnancy. So you might have to figure that one out. All right, and you can tell this is old because we were still on ICD-9 back then. Now I want to hop you over to something else that I did. I did a booklet for the Board of Medical Specialty Coding many years ago. It was a study guide. And in the study guide, I included a lot of these acronyms that you see in anesthesia records and in various areas of the coding books. So I'm going to kind of cut, paste, and make an acronym sheet to share with you. And if I find hyperlinks to really good places, I'll include that on the bottom as well, so that you have that option of doing this or finding them in your spare time. So we all know how that goes. But here we go with some common ones for anesthesia. And we'll want those common ones for surgery as well. And the surgical ones, I was going to point one out on these slides. So let me go over here to this, because I actually missed this particular one on a test that I did, because for the life of me, CKD would not pop up as chronic kidney disease in my head, because it used to be something else. I think it was chronic renal failure, so CRF. And that was just, you know, something new, and your brain is trained in another way. So you can take medical terminology at your local college. I did, 1983 circa. You can study on your own. I'll try to give you some resources for this. And you want to be aware that there are acronyms for anesthesia as well as acronyms for surgery. Okay, that is your Kelly's anesthesia tip for the month. It's going to be a busy month for me. But let me mention a couple of things. The FAAA, we're having our last board meeting today before our agenda is due. Let me see if I can find my way to a site, and I will, here we go, pop up, because you hopefully know that if you go to my website, I try to keep as much information as possible on these pages. And under state societies, I do have FAAA information, and we do have an FAAA website. It's just a little bit more difficult to update. So this is my backup system here. So FAAA, we have FAAA website. The documents are not up yet. Last year's is still there because we have not yet finalized it. This year was a little bit longer because we were waiting for the FSA, or Florida Society of Anesthesiologists agenda. We try to do things in conjunction with them at the same times. So here's your acronym for that. It's the FAAA. We are the Florida Anesthesia Administrators Association. We'll be meeting in June, and that information will be updated. The other one is that I have on my website the forms. Let's get me back there. We have the forms that I'm going to download this acronym one. I don't think I have one on here, but I'm going to use my Control F function and just go check. Nope, I don't have it, so that'll be a good one. And sometimes it's the simple things we miss. All right, that's it for today. I want to thank you, as usual, for your time, and close with be kind to one another and generous with your knowledge. I hope you do support anesthesia meetings in some way, shape, or form. If you can't travel to them, make sure that you sign up for the Anesthesia Coding and Billing Facebook, because we do share their understanding that not everyone has the ability to travel. You still need to network, and you still need friends. All right, thanks, and see you next time.